All right, shalom, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for being on with us. We appreciate you. All righty. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in Jehovah's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it's in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and predict tonight's message. Amen. Welcome on, everybody. Come on in. Since we started class, our evening sessions are shorter. And we appreciate you guys for coming on. Thank you so much. We'll wait a little bit as everybody's coming in. As always, we thank you guys for being on. Hola. Well, actually, I don't know how to do that with both of us here or whatever. I say Adnai Kofi, At Ama, Shalom, Mashalam Che, Barak Allah Cham Yachava. I don't know, français.
Bonsoir. On est là. Il y a Kofi et la Maya.
Ça va?
Oui, ça va.
All right. Aman. So thank you for being on with us. And we are over servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And we're grateful and thankful to be in front of you guys one more time. And thanks for being on with us. My wife is joining me for all the Thursdays of this month and all the Shabbat on our podcast. So we're excited about that. And so this is the third time that she's joining us this month. And thank you for being on again tonight. We give all honor and praise once again to Yahweh Elohim. Barak Allah Cham Yahweh. We give our praise and honor to the Most High for my wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. And she has many different tinctures, which are natural medicines. If you'd like to have any of them, you are more than welcome to be able to contact her. The tincture of the month is anxiety release, and you can get you can get any of them, but that's the featured one for the rest of this month. You can also look up stuff that she's doing at hashtag Find Bloom. You can email her at bloomandflourished and the number 1 at gmail.com. And then, of course, you can text her at 410-469-1553. Again, that's 410-469-1553. Last time, 410-469-1553. And thank you once again, everybody, being on. So shalom to everybody. Peace. We'll go ahead and say hello to everybody real quick before we get started. How you doing, Jeanette? Or I don't know if you say Janet or Jeanette. You got the 2 T's, but thank you for being on. Minister Shantae, her, I think it's her 3802. How you doing? Truth is Life, Spike Me, Nay, Miss Pierce, and everybody who's coming on all the platforms as you come on. So thank you so much for being with us. So tonight we're just going to kind of make it short and sweet. Once again, we have classes, so all our evening sessions are much shorter at this moment in time to make sure we're on time for those. And tonight we're starting with... I'm sorry. Before we do get started, one new announcement that hasn't been put anywhere as of yet. Might add it to the calendar online, or I'm not sure. But we are going to be doing a family fast. I know people usually use the term corporate fast, but we don't use that terminology here. So we will be doing a family fast. If you'd like to join us, we're going to be doing intermittent fasting. Hey, how you doing, Sister Marion? So we'll be doing intermittent fasting on starting Monday. So if you want to do it wherever you are, sun up to sundown, feel free to. If you want to join us, we'll probably be doing like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if you don't know how intermittent fasting works, basically from sun up to sundown, try not to eat. And if you have medicine, of course, feel free not to be able, you have to do what you can on your medicine that you're on. But we're going to try to do that as a group, seeking the Most High, and not tomorrow, but next Friday. So we're not starting till Monday, right? So it's going to start Monday. What's that? January the 23rd. So on January 23rd, sun up. We'd like for you to not eat, and then you can eat when the sun goes down. Not eat, sun goes down on Tuesday. Not eat, sun goes down on Wednesday. Not eat, sun down goes on Thursday. On Friday, we'd like you to not eat until the live session in the evening. And what we're going to do there is all we're going to do is just have some worship music playing. And we're just going to ask you guys to put your prayers in the chat. And we'll all be able to see the prayers in the chat come on together and worship. So that won't be for reasons as far as not getting marks on us on YouTube. That will only be on TikTok. It won't be on Facebook, won't be on YouTube. Possibly could be on the podcast, but probably not. I don't know. I just work that out. But so that'll be on TikTok only. One song will be playing. All we're going to be putting out is prayer requests and asking the Most High. And then as we get into February 23rd, when we start getting the leaven out of our home, we're going to start looking for some of those things we're praying for to start changing, start happening, right? You said, do you ask your wife now? Yeah, yeah, you could ask your wife. I asked my wife actually before we made it official, right? So yeah, exactly. Like we're not
Shalom,
supposed to
Shima.
fast. Hey, how you doing, Sashima? So we're not supposed. Yeah, you're right. So we're not supposed to fast unless we ask permission from our spouse. So that's great catch, right? So we'll be doing that. That'll be on Monday. So not starting today, not tomorrow, Friday, not Saturday, not Sunday, sun up on Monday. Or that's when we're going to start. And then we'll eat in the evenings when the sun comes down. All right. Prayerfully, we'll put maybe we'll put some prayers in place of that food. Maybe we'll put um, some exercise there. Maybe we'll, maybe we'll look to give some of our gifts, talents, efforts, and things like that to things and places we would normally eat, but we're going to do that as a group. All right. So family fast. If you'll probably get a reminder from somebody in their part of the community who gives out phone calls and things if we have your information and everything, but we're going to do that together. All right.
Shalom, Sister Tracy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyways, so we only have a little bit of time left. I already just talked for a little bit of it, but basically we wanted to kind of just talk about something simple. It was more so of a thought process or how we should kind of get back to basics as far as thinking. Right. Even the fasting technically is getting back to basics. Your body has a chance to recover. But we kind of want to get back to this thing of getting back to basics. So there's a lot of things that we don't think about. For example, something simple I was thinking about outside. I've said this before, but it's actually even more so than what I thought. I had said a statistic that I think is wrong. I did the math outside. Somebody had said that if you do something for 18 minutes a day, that averages out to 100 hours a year. And if you can do something for 18 minutes every day, you'll be better than 95% of the planet at that very thing.
Wow.
Right. However, when I did the math, right, because I did 600, because basically, so I did 60, right, because that's minutes times 100. Then I divided that by 365, right, so I got basically 6,000, or 6,000, divided that by 365. I actually got 14 points. No, 16.4 or something. So apparently if you can do it for 16 and a half minutes every day,
oh wow, it's even less.
that's even less, right? So if you can do something for 16 and a half minutes every day, so a lot of people will be like, oh, well, how is it that Bloom and is able to do this and that with tinctures? Or, hey, you're able to teach the blah. How do you do that?
Study every day.
Yeah, every day. And 16 minutes is short. That's a YouTube video.
It's like it's easy when you like what it is that you do, that you enjoy it, that you do it anyways, and it's just something like I don't want to say obsessed with, but I really like plants. I am a little bit obsessed.
Well, I mean, it's something that you like to do, and because you like to do it, it's something that just pops up. Like I don't notice in a plant what you notice. Because I don't practice it. Because it's really being a practitioner. Like to practice something, you have to put it into effect. That's what that word even means, right? When we hear it. In Matthew 5:17, Yahshua says, I came not to destroy the law and the prophets, but I came that it might be fulfilled. It means to put it into effect. So that's why somebody will look at the law and dismiss it completely. Somebody else looks at the law and says, wow, did you notice this? Did you notice this? Somebody else takes it and goes a different route. It depends on how you practice it.
Shalom, Bounty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to practice something that you enjoy. So yeah, it's just like learning to play music. Like I always said I wanted to play the piano, but I don't like practicing. So it's not like something that I'm like in love with. I can't be overly interested. People say they want to do something and then they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like you really don't want to do that because people do what they want to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't practice what they preach. So a lot of people will say, oh yeah, they'll tell you should do this, you should do that, you should be better at this, etc.
Oh gosh.
And then you look at their lives and you're like, oh, it's very clear that you're not giving, forget it, 15 minutes a day. Sometimes, like there was a study that was done that opened my eyes, and it's probably worse now than what it was, but this is got to be 15 to 20 years ago. And a study I read about how if you were to take everybody in the church, let's say there were 100 people in the church, and you were to how if you were to look at percentage wise, how many of them would open their Bibles up during the
Mm.
week? I'll say
Mm.
Sunday doesn't count. If they come to Bible study, even that doesn't count as well, right? So because they can easily maybe get a Bible or maybe get something written on paper that this is the verse. So it was saying how many of them actually open up their Bible during the week. The answer, believe it or not, is like less than 9%, or like something like, so basically around 9 people out of 100 would open their Bibles up. Now if you were to take out of that and say how many of them actually like study their Bible,
Mm.
you probably might have something more like around 2 to 3.
Maybe less.
Right, so not so a lot of people don't open those things up.
Well, like I know I don't open it enough, and especially like before I met you, like I would open the Bible, but I didn't know what I was looking at, and so it would be like reading Shakespeare. Like it, people say it's so great, and you're like, what are they talking about, really? Um, and then like now I know I still don't read it enough because I'll open my Bible app, and it'd be like, can you rate us now? And I'm like, I'm in a hurry. I got things to do. I don't have time to be rating you.
Mhm. Yeah, and a lot of us do, right? And we don't have practice putting in. So if we get back to basics, like the basics of a thing, just in practice, right? If I were to just simply in practice, like I was talking to my son about that today. We were having a conversation. I was trying to tell him like his day is crafted for him every day, and I was trying to tell him this rising, like the reason why we want you to do this stuff is because if you can get used to like he's supposed to wake up, supposed to get some water, supposed to use the restroom. You're supposed to make sure he prays. Supposed to make sure he does some stretching, possibly, hopefully, do some kung fu in there somewhere, or do some kind of push up, sit up, something like that. Or well, not sit ups, but push ups, possibly in there as well. Read a Bible verse, and then maybe watch something educational, 1 or 2 videos. If he can do that every day, he'll be better than about 95% of children that do what? Get up and just go to school and talk about something, whatever, on the bus, maybe, and maybe doing homework, rushing it to try and get it done before school, or even somebody who just wakes up and first thing they do is get on the computer and just do that over and over again with no purpose, right? Um, Something like that, and that probably gets them to about 20 minutes, right? Which is 4 minutes over what it is that makes you better than 95%. So even the habit of it gets you to the basics. And a lot of us miss the basics. We go into people will go, and I don't want to call it the mundane, but it's almost a moot point. It's almost moot when somebody says, hey, can you tell me this really in-depth question I have? And one of the first things I say is what? Always, do you know the culture? What
Mhm.
version of the Bible do you know the culture? And people get kind of frustrated with me because they're like waiting for this very in-depth, profound, word that has it like puts us in better proximity with the proper proclivity to be able to make sure that we prosper in every word. They could, they're waiting for something like that, and it's like, do you live it?
Mm.
Like, can you live? If you live this thing, like a lot of questions get answered just in the living.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in doing something. Like there's a whole lot of information out there. There's a whole lot of things you can uh come in contact with, information you can come in contact with, but when you actually do something, then you know it, and it takes on a whole different life of its own. Like you realize, oh, I could have done that better if I had done this and this. And so like um I don't want to say the magic, but the power is in the doing of something. It
Mhm.
it actually becomes very real. Like theory about something is just kind of out there, and you may not be able to grasp it. But if you've done something, like we were watching the I forget the show, but it was like experts talking about, like, say, jumping out of a plane and doing that on a regular basis. Like if you've done that, then it's easy to know when something it looks realistic or doesn't look realistic, if
Oh
it will
yeah.
work or
Mm.
wouldn't work, or more than likely wouldn't work, because if you know the logistics because you've done it so many times, then you're like, this is like, people who know how to cook. Like you don't really need a recipe because you know the logistics. You know that if I do this, 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 and this is going to be a result.
Mm.
But if you're just looking at recipes, have no idea how to cook or how things work, then you can look at as many recipes as you want, but that food probably not going to be something that anybody wants to eat, even you.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom. Who's that?
Betty.
Oh, you. Oh,
No, Betty. Yeah, Alabama.
Sister Betty. Oh, hey, Sister Betty. How are you?
And how's everybody coming on? Thanks for being on with us. We appreciate you. So we're talking about back to basics, and like even with like for example with tinctures and stuff, like how, or even with just what we call natural medicine, but even food or herbs, etc. Like how much of your stuff has come out of, because obviously you're very read and you're very learned as far as on that regard, but also like how much of your stuff comes out of just like putting stuff together, or even when you tried to put stuff together in the past and maybe it didn't work out, but you were glad that you learned something in the process. Like how much of your stuff would you, I mean, I guess you don't have to give us a specific percentage, but as far as like, how much is in the doing for you personally, like in that part of what you do.
I think would say like making like herbal medicine, or even like fermenting things, that like my new I don't want to say interest, or yeah, my new interest or whatever is like fermenting things. And you kind of got to feel it out, because just because you pick, you know say, okay, there's a ferment called tepache. It's just pineapple, the skins of pineapple. So you eat the inside of the pineapple, and you take the skins and you ferment them. You put the pineapple skins in water and sugar for about 4 days, and it becomes like a pineapple soda. It tastes just like pineapple, but it's fizzy and sweet. If you wait past, too far past, sometimes 4 days is too long, and then you're on your way to vinegar, and it's not so good. Um, but it's kind of like you got to play around with it to kind of figure out what works for you in your area, in your kitchen. Your type of water. Your water might be harder, or contain something that the recipe or what somebody else is talking about doesn't. So you have to try it to really get a feel for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that's really important, to be able to get to, is to make sure that we have that. You say you just did fermented garlic and chili and
Yeah.
honey.
How was it, Sister Betty? It sounds very soothing for the immune system, very good for fighting off colds and flus. That garlic and chili,
Hmm.
really good. Yeah, and then that sweet, it's like a sweet and sour sauce almost. Sounds like something that would go good with over some rice.
Yeah, and see, and even stuff like that. So like, if you practice that, then you also start to practice, as you practice those items and things. What starts to happen is you start to get to a place where you as a practitioner of that now, like if you're going to buy it, even right, it's like, at least as far as I would think, if you're going to buy it, like it's certain things you expect, like because I can make this at home type thing. And even in the basics, like when we talk about even like sovereignty or something, that's kind of even think something like, if I know what it is and I know what I have the ability to do within myself, and I can take on something, that I can take ownership over some of this stuff within myself, then like why would I go just to anybody, or like even with our own culture, right? Like if I can take this stuff on, if I can learn how to make something ferment or mature or perfect it, if I can know if it's when the season it needs to be used and stuff like that, we start depending on people who are not necessarily trying to do things for us a lot less, because if I'm gonna go to you, it better produce this type of fruit, or else what's the point?
Mm-hmm. I see her. She said she put the trash from the corn. You mean the corn silk? That corn silk is really great for you. Actually, it's good to fight off colds. It's good for the immune system. And what did you say is good for? Oh, for your colon. Yeah. So like our immune system, the majority of our immune system is in our small intestine, which is above our colon. It's before you get to our colon. So if you can keep your gut working properly, then you will stay well. If issues happen in the gut, you start having issues with digestion, um, constipation, things like that, then you're gonna end up having other issues, and getting sick often. Someone who has a healthy gut is healthy, and it's going to be very difficult to get them sick.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just so that's something, that once again it comes out of practice. So getting back to the basics, and here's something that I think we mess around with too much, or we forget that we should always, every once in a while, go back to the basics.
Mm-hmm.
We should always make it a point at some point in our lives to say, like, okay, like I need to go back. So it's great. Like it's interesting. I've forced myself over the probably the last 10, 15 years. I will actually, once a year, sounds weird. Once a year, force myself to go back over the alphabet.
Mm.
And I'll actually start trying to do it forwards, and then I'll try to do it backwards, and I'll try to skip every other letter. It's a weird, I've got weird habits in my brain, but like it helps me because like I get to see it again, just like the alphabet, or every once in a while, I don't do it as often, but every once in a while, I try to go back over the Spanish sounds of the letters for if it's in Spanish. I don't really know the French ones, even though I speak a little French, but I don't really know the French letters. I need to go over those again, as we were taught. But it's just like I try to go over certain things I've learned, even in Kiswahili. I'll go over that even if I'm not speaking it every day, like something to go back to, or even if I speak past that, right? We'll just go, oh, I know the alphabet, but like, just simply like, can you say it backwards? Like if you can say it backwards, you can say it forwards, and you can look at it a different way. So yeah, you should be able to go ZYXW. What is it? ZY. See, I haven't done it in a while. ZYXW, VUTSR, Q, etc., all the way to like A.
I can't do it.
You should be able to do that somewhat, but it helps, right? Like the basics, or even going over compound words, like alone doesn't mean alone is all in one. Abuse doesn't mean abuse, it means abnormal usage. Like going over the language over and over again and practicing and making a practitioner. And so when I'm speaking in front of you, it's based off of practice. Even if I practice, you would think, well, he's practicing while he's doing it. Sure, so you could say that's 3 hours usually in the rising, somewhere around there. uh, well, now it's shorter during class, but let's say an hour during night sometimes. So that's 4 hours. But in between, I'm still looking at, okay, can I find something? Can I listen to somebody's speech? Can I listen to somebody speaking in the 1800s that's recorded? Can I listen to somebody in the 1920s? Can I sometimes just listen for a voice, like sometimes randomly pick a speech, listen for a voice and be like, oh, okay, that's Malcolm. That's Malcolm when he was 40, right before he passed, or well, before he was killed. That's Malcolm when he was 30. That's Martin Luther King Jr. in 1963. That's like those are things, like you start practicing those things, and we sometimes forget to go back to the basics. For me, especially the way my mind works, I'm very linear. I don't know how many of you kind of like have to have this in place before you can do that. Some people don't. A lot of people think I can just start anywhere. In my mind, you'll even see me pause sometimes. I'm just like sitting there like this because I have to make sure, like, I have to go back. I have to, like,
Mm.
before I can go forward, before I can get to this place, I have to go back and say, where did it come from? And then I can say, okay, let me get into it. They even call it what, mental mapping.
Into my thing,
Like I have to find the room it's in, or else I can't even begin to do it. So even some of that will help us. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was looking at the comments. Let's see. Janet says she has high blood pressure. So high blood pressure, if you want to go back to basics, you could go in your kitchen and give yourself some garlic. Garlic is great for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, ginger as well. You can make yourself a tea out of either one, or with garlic, you may want to make yourself a soup because it might taste a little better. Get yourself some garlic, some onions, some potatoes if you like that, or some type of meat if you want that, and make yourself a broth or a soup. Um, if you got that in your kitchen, or if you want to contact me, shameless plug. I have plenty of herbs for that. One of my favorite is
Do that
yarrow.
laugh again.
No, yarrow.
She thought she was
um,
gonna sneak that one in there. Like she didn't just do that.
which is great for lowering blood pressure and giving you the nutrients you need.
Almost got booped.
Giving you the nutrients you need, and then helping with your circulation. Um, Another one is hawthorn. Hawthorn is great for supporting your heart. The thing with high blood pressure is that there's not enough nutrients circulating in your blood, and so your blood is like pumping harder to try to
Mm.
get the nutrients you need, any remnant of a nutrient in your system, trying to get it to the organs that it needs. And if you're on any type of prescription medication, so many prescriptions will rob your body of the nutrients, the minerals, the vitamins that you need. And so it's only going to make the problem worse over time. And that's why a lot of times when people take prescriptions, they end up having to take another prescription. And the only thing is that it's not going to get any better until you replace those nutrients that you've lost from taking the medication in the first place. It's not going to get any better until health becomes like a daily routine. Like people come to get herbs after they already have a health problem, but it's better to eat for your health. It's better to take the herbs on a daily basis or on a regular basis instead of waiting until something breaks down. It's like maintaining your car. Like, sure, you can, skip those oil changes. You can skip your maintenance. Don't get tune-ups, but the cost to repair it is going to be way more extreme or high rather than just having that regular maintenance, regularly maintaining it. So, um, yeah, make sure that you're getting your at least a multivitamin, at least some basic minerals. You need 13 essential minerals, and most people are deficient, especially in magnesium. And like I keep preaching magnesium, magnesium, magnesium because most of our processes in our body to create energy, to make red blood cells, you need magnesium. So, in order to make red blood cells, you're going to need magnesium, you're going to need copper, you're going to need iron. And if you don't have those, it's going to be some issues. And it's going to make your body think, okay, I got to help this person. So, the blood pressure is going to keep raising until you get those nutrients in your system.
Well, we got. I don't know if you can answer something in like 30 seconds because
Okay.
it's 8:30 or coming up at 8:30. But somebody said something about baby aspirin every day because I know baby aspirin. People be talking about that for your heart. Usually, that's something you would just use if somebody was having at least what you would think would be a heart attack. You would use that real quick just for CPR purposes.
You could use aspirin, but I would suggest using something that has nutrients in it again, like the garlic, like some cayenne pepper, um, something that's going to thin your blood. Garlic, cayenne pepper, those types of things help with your circulation to in our uh, natural blood thinners instead of aspirin. Which right now the aspirin that you buy, those baby aspirin, are synthetically made. Aspirin used to be made naturally out of white willow bark, but now they just synthesize it synthetically, and it's not going to really. It can help if you have a tendency of having blood clots or thick blood, but it would be better to just eat garlic every day, eat some ginger every day, eat some cayenne pepper every day, and that'll be better. You'll be way better off.
I'm on. So thank you guys for being on. We would continue. Maybe we can do something at some point. We got a special session actually coming up on the fourth Saturday. So even though these Thursdays are now a little shorter, if you want to join us the last Saturday of this month, last Sunday of this month, so not this upcoming Sunday, the Sunday after next, the 29th of January. But thank you for being on. We appreciate it. Reminder, we're going to start intermittent fasting on Monday, not before. So if you want to go ahead and do it, it's not necessarily going to be the family fast. I know people used to say corporate fast, but we're not a corporation. So we're going to do a family fast together, intermittent fasting as much as your health or your doctors will allow, because you got to be healthy to fast. Right. So just make that clear. But we'll start that on Monday, sun up to sundown, no food, prayer in place of it, trying to give your talent, your effort, energy, prayers, listening to the Most High, holding on to the Father's word, his voice, and what he has for you. But thank you all. I appreciate my wife for being on again. Once again, you can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by the degree. If you need that extra oomph, you can email her at bloomandflourish1, as in the number one, at gmail.com. And the number to text her at is 410-469-1553. Again, that's 410-469-1553. Again, I say 410-469-1553. Last time, that is 410-469-1553. Yeah, of course, you can share the fast. Matter of fact, I'll probably put something up in the next couple of days. I got to put something up about Hebrew characters and kind of get that out there again. So we'll probably put it up. But if you want to put something out before that, feel free to. Matter of fact, if you put it out and it's great enough, we'll probably just share. I could just probably do what you do. So I'm not mad at it. But thank you, Minister Tamara. Appreciate y'all. So thank you again. We honor you. Take care of yourselves. As always, this has been well, as of tonight, but always, even if she's behind the scenes, this is the Honorable Maya and myself, Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servants of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. And so we have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember, as always, yesterday, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully, wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shalom, family. Those who are taking class tonight, we'll see you guys in about half an hour. Peace.